late last night. That epic with Dominic Thiem that got carried over from the previous day. In the end, he won in the fifth set, 10-8 in that tie break. And Stefanos Tsitsipas, interesting really to see what kind of level he brings, because he's come out with some interesting comments in his press conferences as well. Be interesting to see how that match goes.
No, it will be. I think it's also important to understand how much he's recovered from yesterday. It was a physically brutal match, even though it lasted over a couple of days. Also, just the mental aspect of it. Emotionally, it takes a lot out of you to win a fifth set tiebreak 10-8 against a very quality player in Dominic Thiem. And having said that, he needs to bring his A game, because we saw how Andy played in his first round, and Andy looks very, very good. Physically, he looks like he's hitting a great ball by his own admission. It's going to be an amazing match, and I think it's well worthy for that centre court, and I think everybody's looking forward to that one.
How much do you think the centre court crowd helps Andy in that one? Because, you know, if you look at the rankings, obviously Stefanos Tsitsipas is the heavy favourite, but the crowd's going to play into that one.
Most definitely, and I think that whenever when you play at home, you have to use it to your advantage. And I always said every time I played, yes, sometimes the crowd can be distracting, but you rather have them for you than against you. And I think Andy probably feels the same way. The crowd really gets into it. They really get behind the British players here. It's always been, and especially Andy, someone who's been such a great champion for the game and for you know, tennis here. So I think that it's going to be an amazing match, regardless whether Andy's ranked number 1 or number 500. It doesn't really matter. Andy Murray is going to bring his A game.
And that is the scene on the hill at the moment. It's getting packed there, everyone enjoying the sunshine, and they can be able to watch the big matches on the huge screen that's on the side of court number 1. So even if they haven't got a ticket for centre court and court number 1, they'll get to keep up to date with all the goings on those show courts. And fashion, obviously a big deal here at Wimbledon every year. And Taylor Fritz's glamorous girlfriend Morgan Riddle is known for her style, and here she is talking all things fashion at SW19.
Lace up my shoes, time to get it. Put in the work, I'm with it. Paying my dues with sweat and tears. There is no weakness.
Oh, it's raining. Of course it's raining. London weather is really showing us what the week's doing. Okay, welcome back. We had a little bit of a rain delay, so here is take 2.
You like how my body shake, huh? Bet on me, jackpot, money maker.
I'm Morgan Riddle. Welcome to Wimbledon Threads, where we are covering all things fashion that graces the grounds here at the most prestigious tennis tournament in the world. Fashion fans, we've got you covered.
I just post a pic and now we on me like a groupie. If I let you, I'm loyal like a hoop.
The first Wimbledon was in 1877, and fashion looked very different back then. When Wimbledon began, the women wore their everyday clothes, including corsets, petticoats, and floor-length dresses. As time went on, clothing became more performance-based. Some of it great, some of it not so much.
You watch me throw it.
Today, players continue to feature their personal style through their on-court kits. In addition to player style changing over the years, the on-court officials have also had a fashion moment, with Polo Ralph Lauren being the sponsor since 2006, the first designer to outfit all on-court officials.
Sleek baby hairs, ghetto bougie, yeah, that's me.
Let's go check out what the fans here at Wimbledon Day 1 are serving up. Okay, look at these bags, you guys. Look at the matching pink Chanel. It's perfect. Okay, so where are your outfits from?
I'm wearing Oscar de la Renta. I'm wearing Dish.
That's amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about what inspired your outfit for today? I feel like this is like a cool, laid-back vibe.
So I want to go all white.
Okay.
And to be honest, it was a bit cold, and I didn't have a jumper, so I just threw this on.
Very chic.
Thank you.
Are you excited for today?
Glad we're going to get some strawberries and cream and some Pims.
Yep, that's the way to do it.
I go hard, Jolly Rancher, but I'm too sweet.
Excuse me, what is your outfit of the day? I can't say it. I love your jacket. Can you tell me a little bit about what inspired your look for today?
Yeah, I suppose. So the jacket is from Maje. I never know how to pronounce it, but I thought I'd wear this because I thought it was kind of Wimbledon themed.
Cool, and you have these little beautiful pearl drop earrings as well.
They're actually from H&M.
Oh, so very cute. Yeah. You look awesome. I love the all green fit. Can you tell me what inspired your outfit for today?
It's Wimbledon.
It's Wimbledon.
You like how my body shake.
No, you look awesome. Where's the fit from?
Do you really want to know?
I do.
Matuline.
I don't know what that is.
It's a real cheap thrift store in the UK. Sorry, Americans, you don't know any of these.
You're rocking it. She is rocking it. Okay, my first outfit of the week here at Wimbledon. This dress is from House of CB, which is a UK-based brand. This bag is from Verified New York. The little white wicker basket kind of reminded me of strawberry picking. And then these shoes are from Sam Edelman. They have a denim detailing on them, and the most important part about them, they're so comfortable to walk around in the grounds all day.
Throw it back, make that money stack.
Okay, here's my fashion tip of the day. Dress for the weather. Until next time.
Yes, Wimbledon really is one of the most fashionable places in town. You can always see people dressed up for their day out here at the Championships. One other thing that is also very typical of Wimbledon are strawberries and cream. I don't know if I can see anyone there enjoying some strawberries, but I'm sure plenty will get eaten over the course of the day here at the All England Club. Let's catch up with Anne Keothavong, who's out and around the grounds talking all things food.
So I'm here on the tea lawn and I'm joined by someone who knows a lot about strawberries. Can you tell me your name and what you do?
So I'm Purdy, I'm head of food and drink for Wimbledon.
Tell me all things strawberries.
So last year we enjoyed 2.25 million strawberries at Wimbledon. They come from just over 31 miles away in Merryworth, Kent, and we've had the same strawberry farmer for almost 30 years now.
So can you tell me where you source them from? And obviously you need a lot, but there must be some waste as well, and what do you do with that?
Absolutely. So they come from Hewley Farms. That relationship's been going with Marion Reagan for about 28 years exactly. And for all of our strawberries that aren't used, because they are only served on the day that they arrive, they come picked at dawn each morning and arrive fresh around early morning. We keep them, we freeze them, and then we make them into strawberry jam that we serve year-round and during the championships with our Victoria sponge and our scones.
And what is that relationship, strawberries and Wimbledon? Why are they so special? And why do they taste so good here, especially?
Well, I think there's a little bit of Wimbledon magic in the taste, and that's definitely our little secret. But there's been a long history. They were always seasonal, they were always the local fruit, and they were always in abundance.
Okay, whoa, that sounds incredible to me. I'm off to find some strawberries. Let's see what these guests think about their strawberries. Excuse me. How are those strawberries?
They're delicious, very tasty.
Very tasty, and this is your first time here at Wimbledon?
First time, yeah.
Okay, well, she says they're tasty. I'm sure everyone here, tasty strawberries, everyone? Yeah, sounds of approval from everyone here.
Thanks, Anne. Well, that's made me hungry just talking about strawberries and cream. We've moved to the Barclays fan zone. Delighted to say we're joined by top seeds in the men's doubles, Neil Skupski and Wesley Koolhof. Thanks so much for both of you to join us. You're not playing today, but the sun's out. It's not raining. How happy are you about that?
Yeah, very happy because we've got a match tomorrow. We want to spend as much time as we can on the grass. A couple of days ago we had to go indoors, which is not ideal. But yeah, the sun's shining, everyone seems to be happy. A lot of tennis being played, they're trying to catch up on the schedule. So yeah, we're looking forward to starting our campaign tomorrow, and hopefully we can start with a win.
How tricky is it, Wesley, when you don't know exactly when you're playing? Because traditionally, there's a few doubles matches later on today. Traditionally, the doubles begins on a Wednesday at the Grand Slam, but you don't know if you're playing maybe on the Wednesday, the Thursday, or the Friday, if there's even more rain delays. How tricky is that for you, not knowing when your tournament's going to begin?
Pretty tricky, actually. Yeah, we kind of guessed we would play either Wednesday or Thursday, but yeah, the rain came in the last couple of days. So you kind of plan towards the day you're going to play. You want to do some individual sessions on court. You want to play some points on court during practices. So yeah, you try to schedule those in and then build to the moment you're going to play your first round. But yeah, don't really know if it's going to be on a Wednesday or on a Friday. Now potentially even maybe Saturday. So yeah, it's just
you'll get out there eventually.
Hopefully, yeah.
You play when you're told.
Hopefully, the sun will be still shining when we go out there and play. So no, I think it's just keep the intensity in the practice going, and yeah, just be prepared for anything.
Neil, how special is it for you? Obviously, you've won here in the mix, unfortunately beating me last year. But
she said she wasn't going to mention
that.
Yeah,
I have another question about that. But no, how special is it for you being a home favorite here, and obviously being one of the favorites in the draw, being the number one team to come in and play? How do you approach? Do you approach it differently than you used to in different years, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's completely different coming in as the number one seeds in the men's doubles. Normally we come in with expectations of trying to just win our first match and then try and get to the second week, but not all eyes are on us now because we're number 1 seeds. We're just trying to take it, for us, one match at a time, because it's never easy in Grand Slams to win the event.
Of course.
But you know yourself how to win a Grand Slam, so we might have to ask you a few questions after this. But yeah, it's going to be a difficult campaign for us, but we're coming in with a lot of confidence. We won 1 title so far on the grass in Hertogenbosch, Wesley's home country. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting started, and hopefully we can pick up our first Grand Slam together.
Yeah, you've touched on it there, but you've obviously both won mixed Grand Slam titles, so you have ticked off the Grand Slam box, but you haven't won a men's title together in terms of a Grand Slam. You've got very close, got to the final at the US Open brilliantly last year. How difficult is it to, you're obviously close, you're nearly there. How difficult is it to sort of maintain the focus and stick with the process that will eventually get you there?
Not that difficult, I think. Obviously, to win a slam, you only have 4 chances a year. So it's, you have to really peak at the right moments. But I think we've done all right with 2 quarterfinals this year. Personally made it twice to the US Open final. Last year with Neil, made it to the final. Lost to Joe and Rajiv. But I think, it's just maintaining the focus and keep going. I think every slam there's a new opportunity, but basically that counts for every team, obviously, to win that title. But it's our main goal of this year. I think last year we wasn't really one of our goals, but we just started playing together, so we just played as much as possible, especially in the early stages of the year, and basically won every tournament we played. Now this year we went full on for the Grand Slam victory, and hopefully we can get it done here.
A question we always get from viewers who obviously play a lot of doubles, they enjoy playing doubles in their own kind of tennis life. You've obviously a partnership that's worked. You got together and you've enjoyed great success almost pretty much since you started playing together. How do you choose a partner? What goes into the factors of deciding who you're playing with and what works and what doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, when we came together at the start of last year, we spoke in the previous tournaments just to say what we were looking for in each other. We're a similar age. We came up in the rankings together at the same time. So I've known Wesley for a long time, even though we didn't really speak that much around the tour. But I know his game inside and out just because I've scouted him many times. And it seems like it clicked from ball one. We won our first 2 tournaments together in Australia. Starting well is always key. It makes things a lot easier because sometimes when new teams come together, they struggle because it just takes time. I think that's why the Bryan brothers, they always had an advantage. They stuck together when other teams were kind of splitting up around them, and that's when they took home the Australian Open a few times because it was people just trying to get to know each other. But we're spending so much time together at tournaments, not just on the court, but going for dinners, a lot of coffee dates. And it seems to be working.
How do you, I just, for the people, it's interesting to know what happens when it's great when everything's going fine, right? We all know in doubles. Well, what happens when you guys are struggling? Like, I mean, it's happened to all of us, to the best of us. And like, how do you find that mojo again? How do you kind of come together and say, and have that belief that we're going to do it again and be the best team that we can be?
I think you just blame your partner and you move on.
That's the best part about doubles.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not doing anything wrong. It's always the partner's fault. So, no, I think communication is key. I think obviously you always go through some rough patches throughout the year. I don't think anyone went on a total winning streak the entire year. So I think it's communication. I mean, if the level maybe drops or if we're not performing as well as we did in the previous year or months, then it's just talk with the team, talk all together, and see if we can find a solution. Look back at the matches we've lost, and just talk. I think that's the main key, communication.
Well, it's time for a quick game here at the Barclays fan zone.
Oh, Neil's loving this.
Can't wait.
I wasn't ready for this.
I can't wait. So it's delay party or avoid. So who out of the current Wimbledon draw? First thing, would you spend a rain delay with? Secondly, would you have a dinner party with? And thirdly, who would you not want to play against? You can do men's or ladies, so you can count for mixed doubles. So let's start with spend a rain delay with.
Spend a rain delay
Wesley,
with?
you're first, because Neil didn't look forward to it.
Oi! I have no idea.
For any reason.
For any reason. Spend a rain delay
There's
with.
400 players.
I know. Tough to pick. Better if there was only 3. Well, if you have an answer, then throw it out there.
Rain delay, I'd probably go with maybe Rohan Bapana. I'm sure he's got quite a few stories. He's been on the tour quite a while. So.
What about Sonia?
I'd pick Rohan.
Yeah, he enjoys his coffee as well as like I do. So I think I'll spend the rain delay with Rohan.
Okay. Have a dinner party with. Who would you like to go to dinner with?
Be careful with this one.
I know. I know. On my dinner party? Well, I might actually take Andy Murray. You can show me around the restaurants here inside Centre Court. I think we've never been there, so we can talk about fantasy football.
He knows the place like the back of his hand.
Exactly. Yeah. So, Andy Murray, I would say.
You know?
What did I say? Dinner party? I guess I'll have to go with my mixed doubles partner, Desiree.
There you go. I was wondering if...
Keep her happy, I guess. And yeah, we've had success on the, obviously, Centre Court, so we'll go on a little afternoon tea on Centre Court.
And the final one, which I thought would be the easier one, who would you not like to play against? I guess in doubles, because singles might be maybe a bit tricky with some of the singles players.
I would say Wesley. I wouldn't want to play Wes in mixed doubles.
Opposite halves of the...
Yeah, so I mean, we get along so well on the court. My title might be in jeopardy if I come up against Wes. He knows the ins and outs of my game, and it will be a difficult match.
Wesley?
Yeah, I think I have to go with Neil as well then. Yeah, like I said, we're on opposite sides of the mixed draw. So final will be nice. Happy to lose. Well, maybe
Thanks.
not.
I'll take that.
Well, it's been great.
Happy to lose in the final against him, but no, let's make it to the final first. But I think Neil. He knows me. So.
It's been great to speak to both of you. Good luck in both the men's doubles and the mixed doubles. Fingers crossed you get to lift your first Grand Slam title together in just under 2 weeks' time there on Centre Court. You mentioned Andy Murray. We got a chance to catch up with him before the tournament mic'd up.
Can you tell us how you're going to play the next point?
A nice lot of tea.
So normally I get the opportunity of commentating on Andy Murray, but today I've got the opportunity of talking to Andy during practice out on Centre Court.
Oh, you have it too?
I'm going to give it a go.
Give it a go.
Andy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So how does it feel to get the opportunity of practicing out on Centre Court?
Yeah, getting a bit of a feel for the court before it starts definitely helps. Well, providing I play on here, that is.
I'll do my best. And do you think I should ask your coach a question, or is that high-risk strategy?
Remember, don't ask questions you don't know answers to.
What is the length of the grass at Wimbledon?
Too long to be a green.
True, but it's a tennis
Too
court.
short to be a fringe, so it's somewhere in between.
Andy, what do you feel about the pace of the court, first day compared to after a week? And you've obviously played in finals here. It varied quite a lot once the court's been worn in.
Yes, the court is a bit slower, but because it's bouncing lower, like there's certain shots at the beginning of the tournament work much better, like drop volleys, drop shots, slice is staying very low. It's not that easy to hit winners off, flat balls, whereas, as the tournament goes on, it starts to play, especially when the weather's hot, starts to play a little bit more like a hard court in terms of the bounce, and that's for me, like, obviously the biggest difference between, the other majors is that you don't get a change in conditions really as the tournament goes on.
And how's it having your coach back in your corner, Mr. Lendl?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, obviously, his experience in these events and, from the psychological perspective is obviously huge for me and helped me a lot, certainly earlier in my career. And I think, we've always had good results working together with each other. So yeah, that also helps with the confidence. But yeah, great to have him around, even if his sense of humour is terrible.
right shot, poor execution, Ivan?
I think maybe down the line was a better choice, but it's hard to tell from the side here.
It's unlike
easy
you
to talk.
Unlike you to sit on the fence, Ivan. It was the wrong shot, wasn't it?
I think that one was the right shot, Tim.
I agree. Ivan, what do you think about the changing of the rules with off-court coaching?
I'm not a fan of it.
No.
I think once they get on the court, they should figure it out themselves. You know, it is what it is. I don't worry too much about it. I have no control over it anyway.
Your player doesn't listen much anyway, so.
Oh no, he's very good strategically. So there is not much. If I took it just for him, I think we would be better off if there was no coaching period, because he figures things out himself very well.
Yeah, I agree.
That's twice you agreed with me. You feeling all right?
It's just for the cameras, Ivan. Okay, Andy, can you tell us how you're going to play the next point? It's the Shane Warne moment. Slow one out wide, serve and volley. Big one up the tee. What do you think?
An ace on the tee. I'm recommending an ace. Oh my God.
Last question, Andy. How excited are you going into the champs this year in 2023?
It's definitely like the physical perspective, like by far the best I've felt in the last since 2016 probably. So yeah, I feel like if I go out there and play well, you know, I've got a good chance of having a deep run. You know, I've got definitely a good sort of the right to feel positive about the tournament, and yeah, I'm good to go.
Best of luck. We're right behind you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Andy Murray back on centre court later against this man, Stefanos Tsitsipas, who's made his way to the Aorangi practice area, a short distance away from where we're stood now, just getting up to speed really in terms of his physical preparations. He was in action late last night against Dominic Thiem, that epic 5-setter, eventually coming through against the Austrian to book his place against Andy Murray on centre court later on today, just doing some medicine ball work. He is due to be on the practice courts, hitting himself in a short time as well on these courts that are behind us. And there were plenty of well-known faces at Wimbledon yesterday. We'll be discussing them in just a few moments, but these are the latest scores because play, of course, begun at 11 o'clock local time. And so some matches have already got through. On court number 2, for example, that 3-setter, Alina Svitolina, 4-1 up in the 3rd set against Elise Mertens. And these are Sofia Kenin, who was a big winner, an upset on the first day, a victory for her on centre court, beating Coco Gauff. She has won again through to the 3rd round in an hour and 14 minutes, 6-4, 6-3 over Sofia Kenin. And then these are some matches on some of the outside courts as well. Diane Parry against Petra Martic. Parry taking the first set 6-4 there, still on serve in the 2nd set. And the final page of the latest scores. Lorenzo Musetti one to watch, a good clay court player, 14 seed, took the first set against Jaume Munar 6-4, and it's 3-2 in the 2nd set there against him. And Stefanos Tsitsipas is still here. I always wonder what some of these exercises are.
Oh, these are
Sanya,
very...
talk us through this.
No, these are very important. These are all almost mobility exercises, which is what you have to do before, you know, you start your day. I mean, the players spend about 45 minutes doing this before they actually go on the warm-up court to warm up. You know, everybody has different techniques to do it, and some may seem to the layman, they may seem like they're really easy and really pointless exercise, but actually they just get the smaller muscles firing. They get the Right now he's getting the mobility in the back going, which is obviously so important to avoid injuries. And a lot of this is injury prevention stuff that they're doing before they actually step on the court to warm up before their actual match.
Well, let's have a quick look at someone who was watching on centre court yesterday. I mentioned plenty of famous faces at Wimbledon, including David Beckham, who was on centre court watching from the Royal Box. I think he came with his mum. He met up with Ons Jabeur and Novak Djokovic as well. And at this year's championships, there's a big push this year to focus on reducing Wimbledon's impact on the environment. And as part of that, football legend and broadcaster Gary Lineker hosted a climate panel discussion here at SW19 earlier. And Anne got a chance to speak to him after that.
Today we're focusing on the environment, and I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Gary Lineker. Gary, you've just been moderating on a panel earlier today. Can you just tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, I had a few guests from sport. Heather Watson, who plays tennis, of course, Lord Sebastian Coe, Hannah Mills and Suzanne Petterson from, obviously, the Solheim Cup captain. Just really talking about how perhaps sports people can use their platforms to make people more aware of where we are in the crisis, what sport itself can do, where sport can improve on things. Obviously, it's really difficult for sport because there's a degree, perhaps people think of hypocrisy because, sports people travel around the world to compete and stuff like that, which is a difficult subject. So there were lots to discuss, and I think it was quite interesting.
Yeah. And over the last few years, what have you noticed of being around and about at events, how they can improve sustainability?
Well, I think sport is trying, and it is difficult, of course. I think, even events like this, we just heard someone, well, we were trying to record earlier, and then we were right by the microphone here, and there were announcements being made about, plastic bottles, let's try and keep one for the whole day, that sort of stuff. So, obviously that's a small thing, but, from that it can grow. I think sport needs to probably look at things, particularly the travel world, whether it's private jets, things like that. So I think a lot of change will come because most sports people are pretty young. It's their future that's at stake. So I think it's important that sport plays its part. I think a lot of young sports people are perhaps put off, made a little bit afraid because now social media, you can get attacked for trying to do good. So it's not easy, but the future's at stake.
And would you just encourage athletes to keep using their platform to help influence change, or is there anything specific they could do more?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't tell them to. Everyone has to deal with things in their own particular way, but I will applaud the ones that do, because you need to be quite brave nowadays, because abuse does follow. So those that are prepared to do it, I would massively encourage them, and those that don't feel comfortable enough doing it, you have to respect as well. But hopefully they can perhaps make a difference in other ways.
Yeah. Finally, last question. We've got two Brits on action on centre court today, Liam Brodie and Andy Murray. How much are you looking forward to seeing them in action?
Very much so. I've got lucky enough to get centre court tickets today, so I was thrilled when I heard Andy Murray was playing. I'm such a massive fan of Andy's. I think he's been so brilliant for sport, so brilliant in tennis, obviously over such a long period of time, and he's a real icon. He's great.
And to talk more about what Gary was discussing there, we're joined by Abby Dewhurst, who's the BBC's climate presenter. Abby, thanks so much for joining us. Many topics discussed really about what Gary said and what the players can do to reduce their environmental impact. But Wimbledon, over the last few years, has been a real champion, haven't they, in terms of reducing the environmental impact of a sports event as big as this?
Yeah, they're really leading by example, and I think they've got ambitious plans to become carbon neutral by 2030, and they are taking lots of steps behind the scenes to strive towards that, electrifying the whole fleet. We've seen Jaguar I-Paces running up and down, shuttling guests and players. Electric lawnmowers is a big one. They've got huge solar panels about the place. And I think a big thing as well is part of the climate crisis is that we need to really increase the climate conversation, and that's one thing that Wimbledon are doing really well. So they're encouraging people who are coming to Wimbledon, who are watching Wimbledon, to just try and be more climate positive every day, taking steps such as arriving on public transport, which 80% of people that come to Wimbledon already do. But, you know, can they go a step further? Can they cycle or walk? And we've seen lots of players this year use the iconic, I think they're going to become iconic anyway, a bit like the Love Island bottles, the refillable water bottles. So plastic waste has been a huge thing off the back of sport in general, but particularly tennis. So that's something that, you know, hopefully will inspire people going forward.
How important is it to have a conversation about this? I feel like how much ever spoken about it is less, and I think especially, like you said, players are such big ambassadors and people they have such big followings. How important is it for them to talk about it and actually lead by example?
Yeah, it's huge. It is huge because they are huge role models for generations, but particularly for young generations who are already talking about this and thinking about this and a lot of the time worrying about this. So I think if they can see somebody that they already admire, that they already aspire to be like, making really positive steps, such as refillable water bottles, like I say, they're going to become iconic. I really do think that all the kids will be going back into school after Wimbledon and they'll want one of those water bottles. They'll want to be seen to be reusing it and refilling it and reducing the amount of plastic waste that they're putting out there.
And it's not just for the players, the spectators and fans here at Wimbledon as well. We can hear them screaming as they see their stars in the background. Environmentally friendly meals that are available, meal choices at the food courts all around the grounds. Plenty of things that a spectator can do on their day here at Wimbledon to reduce their environmental impact.
Yeah, you're right. And I think, again, what's great is that Wimbledon are really highlighting all those things. So you look through the menu and there's low carbon options. There's strawberries and vegan cream. So it's like a modern day take on a Wimbledon classic. And it's a beautiful place, isn't it? There's so much wildlife. There's so much nature. We've got the living wall. All those sorts of things we need to be taking away and using in our daily life. And I think what Wimbledon is doing really brilliantly is inspiring people beautifully, is inspiring people to go away and take a lot of the things that they are seeing and that maybe they're trying for the first time at Wimbledon today and implement that in their daily lives.
Okay, thanks very much, Abby, for all of your input. Really interesting to discuss all of those climate topics here at Wimbledon. We're just having a look at some live pictures here at the Aorangi practice courts of Daniil Medvedev. Going through his warm-up routine. I love these. They've all got something. Well, what on earth is this?
He's doing isometric holds for a scarf. I've done a few of those.
Isometric holds. Okay.
Isometric holds. I did that yesterday before I hit for 45 minutes after 4 months. I promise you those help a lot. They just, you know, when people have certain injuries, those are the small movements that really keep those muscles intact together to avoid that injury to come back or to avoid a injury to happen.
Daniil Medvedev had a good match yesterday, played Arthur Ferry, didn't he, the British wildcard, 20 years of age. He got through in the end in straight sets, but he was tested. A lot of people have been talking about the position at which he returns from on a grass court, on all courts, so far behind the baseline. Is that what's holding him back, maybe a bit on grass?
No, I think that's definitely one of the reasons. And I think that...
he's almost on the, you know, all the way at the back of the court.
I think that he, you know, the biggest difference, and I think that maybe Rafa is somebody that he can learn from, because Rafa used to be that far back, you know, when he played on any other surface, and then he started coming in. He was closer to the baseline, and that's when he started winning Wimbledon, is when he came closer and with the position was aggressive. I think that Daniil Medvedev, if he has to go deep into the tournament and he needs to win those big matches against the top 5 and the top 10 guys, he's going to have to come closer to the baseline.
We're seeing the real contrast in the moments before battle. We saw inside the dressing room there, the players nervous ahead of walking out on court, and then actually inside the players' areas, some of the players' restaurant and the players' lounge as well, the contrast between players relaxing and then also getting ready to walk out on court for their matches. Were you a player that got quite nervous before you walked out? Were you made for the stage?
No. I think everybody that is here is made for the stage. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. That's the honest truth. I think some do better under pressure. Some thrive more under pressure than not. I, for one, I used to be okay until about 15, 20 minutes before. I think it's when I started feeling the butterflies, and which is all good, right? Because you have to feel a little bit of nervous energy to really know how much it means to you and how much you care. So no matter, you know, for 20 years I played and was a professional tennis player, and every time I walked on to especially a big court, and especially at a big Grand Slam, especially at Wimbledon, it was always butterflies in the stomach.
Two players who really love the big stage are going to be taking to the biggest stage in tennis, centre court, a little bit later on today, the third match of the day. Andy Murray against Stefanos Tsitsipas. There has been a little bit of needle, I suppose tennis needle, between these two in the past, and matches that they've played between the two of them. Do you think that'll be put aside, or will that have an influence on the match?
I hope it's not put aside, because that's what makes for entertaining television.
Love the drama.
Really, I love the drama. No, but Andy's always spoken his mind, which is what I really have a lot of respect for him for. He speaks a lot for women's tennis. He speaks what he feels is correct, and I think that's very important to do. Tsitsipas also, on the other hand, he's had a lot of quote-unquote needle with a lot of players on the tour every time that he's stepping on the court. He seems to be a likable guy, I mean, when he's walking around the courts, but somehow on the court he seems to have this kind of little bit of drama going on with everyone. But I think it just makes for an entertaining tennis match as well. I think a little bit of extra there. Besides that, to be very honest, just tennis to tennis, it's going to be a great battle of two unbelievable tennis players, and I think we're lucky to have them play each other in the second round. I don't think they think they're that lucky to play each other in the second round, but we're lucky to have such a great match at hands.
Yeah, they're practicing. Stefanos Tsitsipas just a short distance away from us on practice court 5. His father's there, and he is so busy at the championships this year, almost unprecedented for a player inside the top 10. He's playing the singles, he's playing the doubles with his brother Petros, and he's playing the mixed doubles with Paula Badosa, who's his girlfriend. If he keeps going on all of those, I mean, obviously the double starts a little bit later this week, but he's in for a busy couple of weeks if he keeps going.
He is, but he's keeping it all in the family, so that's good. No, I think
Are you surprised at that choice?
I'm actually not, because I've seen him that he's been playing singles and doubles for many slams. I mean, he played singles and doubles. I saw him in Australia, he was playing singles, and he was going full on in doubles. He played a 7-6 in the third right after he played his singles match, and he played a 7-6 in the third in the men's doubles, and he won that match, So he's, like I said, and I've been saying, every time a tennis player walks on the court, especially of that level, they want to win the match, no matter what they're playing. I'm a little surprised, maybe, that, given the results he's had this year, maybe he would want to save his body a little bit. And, it is Wimbledon. It is probably one of his dreams to win here. But I think, him and Paula are having a lot of fun on and off the court, and it'll be really fun to watch.
Plenty of sports stars here at Wimbledon yesterday. We saw David Beckham speaking to Ons Jabeur. Plenty of sports stars here today as well. And Olivia Wayne has caught up with one of them on the purple carpet.
But you look great. You haven't aged. How are you, Ugo?
I'm really... Thank you very much. You're looking brilliant as well. It's the first time I've seen you forever. And what a place to reacquaint with one another. It's a wonderful day, isn't it?
It's the best day out. Why are you so excited to be here? How do you come often? Have you been before?
I come every year and I love it. I think this event more so than any. It's quintessentially British. It's another footnote right across the British summer. And today's a real special day because Andy Murray's out on centre court. Thankfully, I've got tickets to be able to go and see him. Lots of people are saying it could be the last time. I'm like, only if he loses. So let's be positive, okay?
That attitude, that's a low vibe approach.
Totally low vibe. Tsitsipas is a fantastic tennis player. We know that. It should be a brilliant battle, but I'm really looking forward to just enjoying and bathing in everything that Wimbledon has to offer today.
Well, you've come dressed appropriately. One of the bits I love is that people make an effort for Wimbledon. It's quite different to other sporting events, isn't it?
I agree. It's a little bit like Ascot. It's got Silverstone this weekend. I think there's very few where people genuinely make an effort. And regardless of whichever court you're on, it feels like to blend in and be a part of the tradition and the heritage of what Wimbledon truly is and the history of all of it, that you should perhaps dress a certain way. I'm not sure whether I've pulled that off today.
You look so suave.
Hey, blush pink. It's a little bit of me, hey? It's a little bit of me.
A little bit rosé, a little bit Pimm's, a little bit strawberry. Yeah.
All mixed in.
Oh, stunning. Now, talk to us a bit about what you're up to, what's coming up in the world of rugby.
So we've got a massive year of rugby, a massive summer of rugby in itself. So the England team, they've been together for 3 weeks. Steve Borthwick, the England coach, has cut his squad to 41. He's got to make a decision next month to cut it to his final squad of 33 for the Rugby World Cup. In tandem, we've got the Rugby Championship, which is currently starting this weekend. So that's competition of Australia, New Zealand, Argentina. Eddie Jones, the former England coach, is taking charge of his first test of Australia this weekend in South Africa. So it's a melting pot of loads of rugby, all culminating in a Rugby World Cup in about 6 or 7 weeks' time.
English rugby, English cricket, and England on form on court today. Andy Murray, thank you, Ugo. It's been a pleasure chatting to you. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Olivia. These are the scenes around the beautiful grounds at the All England Club. It really is packed. Bumper crowd expected, and all of those famous walkways, the ivy-covered centre court on the right there, the outside courts, all full of spectators enjoying their day in the sunshine. Finally, we've had to wait for it. A couple of days of rain yesterday and the day before as well, but play is continuing on the outside courts. Now, we mentioned Stefanos Tsitsipas and his big match against Andy Murray inside the Cathedral of Tennis centre court on the right there a little bit later, the final match of the day of 3 on there. And here he is speaking about his inspiration to pick up the game of tennis.
The thing that makes Wimbledon the most special event of the year is the tradition that is being felt when you walk around the courts and the grounds here. I feel like there are a lot of tournaments out there that you feel some sort of history when you are competing or playing at, but nothing comes close to Wimbledon. How well they maintain and take care of the surface and the grass, that ceremonial feel that you feel around the grounds. The courts are hallowed and everything feels so pristine and well maintained. My earliest memory of Wimbledon is watching Roger Federer win the tournament in 2003, his first ever Wimbledon title.
Wins Wimbledon.
Watching that beautiful champion conquer the Wimbledon courts with his beautiful single-handed backhand and his magnificent serve and volley game.
Roger Federer, the patterns of play are so beautiful to the eye.
One word to describe Roger would be elegance, pure elegance. I think that's the ideal word for him.
His name is Roger Federer!
You know, Wimbledon is the most prestigious, the biggest tournament in our sport, in tennis. So to be holding that trophy at the end of the second week would mean the world to me. I would love to conquer my dreams and make that happen.
Will he be able to channel his inner Roger Federer on centre court a little bit later against Andy Murray? We'll have to wait and see. Well, earlier on at the Barclays fan zone, we got to catch up with the British doubles #1, Neil Skupski, the top seed with Wesley Koolhof in the men's doubles. Let's catch up with another brilliant doubles player on the men's side from Britain, Joe Salisbury, who's speaking now to Anne.
I'm back on the players' lawn, and right next to me I've got the former world #1 doubles player, Joe Salisbury. Joe, this year's championships, you're teamed up with Rajiv Ram. Who have you got?
We've got Griegspoor and Stevens first round, who are an alternate team. We were supposed to be playing Kyrgios and Kokkinakis first round, but obviously Kyrgios pulled out, so yeah, we've got the alternate team. Yeah.
And is that likely to be tomorrow?
Hopefully tomorrow, yeah. It's been a bit of a delayed start. Obviously, it's quite a long wait to play the first round, probably on Friday. But yeah, get a bit more practice in, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. So you look pretty relaxed right now, but what does the day entail, day before match day?
Yeah, I mean, it is a fairly relaxing day, at least hopefully. We're just going to have an hour practice, a little bit of work in the gym, some physio treatment, and yeah, then trying to just relax, and we'll have a little team talk later on, and then yeah, just rest up for tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm intrigued. Now that we've got some Brits in action today, how much tennis do you actually get to watch during a tournament?
I like to watch quite a lot. I mean, I'm still a tennis fan, and with it being Wimbledon and all the Brits playing, and yeah, being friends with a lot of them, I like to see how they're doing and watch their matches. Obviously, I'm not going out to the courts and watching in person, but obviously often when I go home, then I'll have it on the TV. So I've watched Andy and Broads and Cam, and so yeah, a lot of them I'll try and watch if I can.
Yeah. And you've reached a mixed doubles final here in the past. Who have you teamed up with this year?
I'm playing with Heather Watson this year.
Yeah, and tell us the difference between doubles and mixed doubles. Mixed doubles, what tactical differences, or is that more relaxed, or how different is it?
It's definitely a bit different. I think it's a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more fun. I think, yeah, most people put more, I suppose, importance on the men's and the women's doubles, and then the mixed is obviously we're wanting to win, and especially when you get to later stages of the tournament wanting to win a Grand Slam title, but I think most people are a bit more relaxed on court.
Yeah. Well, we're wishing you the best of luck. Thank you for chatting to us, Joe.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anne. Well, Sanya and I have made it down to the players' warm-up area here, not because we want to do any of these exercises that we're watching Iga Świątek to go through. I mean, she's a very, very short distance away, probably 10 metres away from where we're stood, throwing this rather heavy medicine ball up in the air.
That's one of the reasons I retired.
It was just because of the warm-ups. And it is a who's who of players. I mean, we're stood right next to Daniil Medvedev. I've probably got to whisper a little bit because he's got the medicine ball just over our shoulder going through up his warm-up routines. Rybakina will be here in just a few seconds. Paula Badosa is behind us as well. I'm just going through who I can see. Donna Vekic as well, including a lot of the doubles players are getting ready for their matches too. Let's talk a bit about Elena Rybakina, because she's second on centre court against Elise Cornet, which could be potentially a tricky one. Cornet's a very experienced player, quite a fiery character, and she's had some good wins against top 10 players.
She has, and you know, Elise Cornet is someone that is not scared of the big stage at all. She's not scared of playing the big players. She's had the big wins in her absolute prime. She was a very solid top 20, top 15 tennis player. She's been around for a long time. Rybakina has had a tricky draw. In the first round, she played Shelby Rogers, which was, again, very tough match. She won in 3 sets. It's not going to be easy. Do I think that she's going to win? Probably. I think that she is going to win. I think it's going to be a tough match. But I think, you know, Rybakina slowly kind of finding her feet at Wimbledon again after winning last year. She had a tough outing at Roland Garros, getting sick. She had to pull out. And, you know, I think that's why she's a little bit under the radar. But I think she's going to start playing better and better. These couple of matches are going to be very important, even if she's not playing her best, to somehow come through them like she did in that first round against Shelby Rogers. And then she's in the second week, at the business end of the week, she is going to get as good as she is.
She also had to deal with the pressure of playing in front of Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and Roger Federer, who are watching on from the Royal Box for that first round of match. I don't think either of them are here today. I don't want to jinx it. Do you think Rybakina is one of the favourites to lift the title once again? Because I think last year she was a bit of a surprise package, wasn't she?
She was a little bit of a surprise, but she's made herself known now. She's someone that comes into a tournament and people expect her to win the tournament and every Grand Slam that she's playing. To be honest, you know, I think the women's tennis now has found their big three in the Rybakina, Sabalenka and Świątek trio. And I think that Rybakina is definitely, she does fancy her chances here on any other, rather than any other surface more, because of the very fact of the way she plays. She hits the ball great. She hits a huge serve, you know, and her movement, that is probably the weakest part of her game, you know, kind of gets negated because of how big she hits the ball on the surface.
I can figure out what the thing in her right hand was there, the yellow band. What's the red band there? That looks almost like torture.
It is a little bit like torture. No, but on a serious note, that's just to bring stability in the body. So, you know, you feel a force that's kind of pulling you while you're hitting the forehand and the backhand, or shadowing the forehand and the backhand, which she was doing right there, and just bring stability in your core and your back.
Now, my match of the day, Sloane Stephens against Donna Vekic. Which way is this going to go? Because although Sloane is the former Grand Slam champion, she won the US Open, didn't she, back in 2017. Donna Vekic, despite the fact she's only the 20th seed, is a brilliant grass court player. She won one of the warm-up events in Berlin on the grass, has said in interviews she's feeling really, really confident. Is that a potential for an upset?
Yes, and I don't necessarily think that's going to be an upset. I mean, yes, sure in the ranking, but I think that Donna Vekic has been playing really well. Pam Shriver has been working with her over the last few months or over the last 1 year. She's had some really good results over the last 6-8 months, and I think Donna Vekic is, in my opinion, actually the favourite to win that match.
What takes, on the ladies' side, to be a grass court specialist in inverted commas? Because Vekic is one of those. She's won titles on a grass court. She's played well consistently at Wimbledon year after year. What do you have to do if you want to play well on grass on the ladies' side?
I think short backswings is definitely one of them, and Donna Vekic has short backswings on both her flanks. She hits the ball really flat. The ball goes through the court really quick. She doesn't have the biggest serve, but she has a big enough serve, because on the grass is forgiving to a slightly worse serve that you have, because it gives you you so much off the surface when you serve. To be very honest, I think she isn't the best mover, which also gets a bit negated on the grass because the grass is too fast. So even the best movers don't feel like they're the best movers on the court. She is someone who enjoys playing on the grass. She's had some really good results, and I think that's what really, she stays close to the baseline, and I think that's what really helps you become a really good grass court player.
And I think those matches as well is where the start of the match is so important for either Stevens or Vekic. Whoever gets the upper hand at the start often can keep that momentum going through and get them racing through to the next round. These are the shots from the cameras we've got literally all around the grounds here at the All England Club. Cam Norrie, there he is. On the practice courts. He's just finished his practice session, and there are the players about to get ready to walk out onto court for their matches later. Another lady in the singles draw that jumped out at me prior to the tournament, Jessica Pegula. You mentioned games that suit a grass court, the power she can bring at the baseline, a tall player as well. She's playing Christina Buxa later on today. Do you think she has a Grand Slam title in her, Pegula?
I think that she's always knocking on the door of it, and I think that we don't talk about her enough, even though of how consistent she really is. She's not the biggest player on the court, she's not the biggest hitter on the court, but she's the cleanest hitter on the court. I mean, she hits the ball so clean, and she does not miss the ball very easily. And if you give her the opportunity, she takes it, and she can be aggressive with it. She's been having a lot of success in doubles with Coco Gauff. She's improved her volleys quite a lot. I think that's going to help her a lot on this surface as well, for her to come in and kind of finish the shots and make up for that lack of power that she has a little bit.
A real buzz around the grounds at the moment with Andy Murray playing on later today, and Carlos Alcaraz has just finished that practice session with Cameron Norrie. Juan Carlos Ferrero, his coach, alongside him. They were just posing for a photo there. Were you someone, when you were playing like this, did you like to practice with a specific practice partner, or did you practice with some of the other players in the draw?
No, actually, I used to love practicing with other people, because I just feel that, you're practicing with practice partners. They're kind of playing to your comfort and to what you want to do. And when you just play with other people and other tennis players, quality tennis players, you are going to be surprised on the practice court, and it's as close to match play as possible. So I always love playing with other people in the court.
I remember when we were speaking to Andy Murray last year that he said he always, particularly in the lead up to Wimbledon, likes to play with the best players he can find. We saw him against Novak Djokovic, didn't he, the day before the tournament began. He just wanted to test himself against the best quality players he could find.
Yes, and that's, I think, a really smart thing, because you want to be peaking at the right time, and what better way to prepare than playing with the best tennis players in the world, probably ever, in Novak Djokovic.
Which matches are you looking forward to watching later? Have you got any that jump out immediately to you?
My match of the day, unfortunately I'm not doing that match, but the match of the day is the Tsitsipas Andy Murray match. I'm really looking forward to it. I am also looking forward to seeing how Rybakina pulls up in that second round. We'll see if she gets better after that first round, where she was a bit shaky.
I'm going to ask you to pick a winner, Andy Murray or Stefanos Tsitsipas. Who's going to come out on top?
Can I say what I want? Or am I supposed to?
Like.
I would like to see Andy Murray win, just because, I have seen Andy for a long time. So, yeah, I'll go with Andy Murray.
OK, we'll have to wait and see. I think an Andy Murray win would be celebrated by the British crowd. We're done here on day 3 of the Aorangi Hour. We'll see you at the same time tomorrow.